You guys have some stories. Go ahead.
I just thought of a couple of important things I omitted, if I might. Jimmy Stewart was our wing commander, 20th Combat Wing. And our group, while I was there, got the award for the most bombing accuracy in January of 1945. Okay. So that's just a couple. And then I weighed 164 pounds when I went in the Air Force. I weighed 164 pounds when I got shot down. I weighed 129 after I got out of prison camp. That potato peeling soup was not very...
Now, when you're saying Jimmy Stewart, is it the?
That's the Jimmy Stewart.
Oh.
He was our wing commander.
Okay.
He later wound up as a commander at Alconbury, the 482nd.
Did he?
And he was gone by the time I got there, but everybody thought he was just great.
Yeah, he was great.
Guy.
He was a wonderful guy.
He was a division, 3rd Division commander, too.
I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah.
But,
yeah. He was a very personable guy, but very, very shy. He did not want any publicity.
It's just
he
like...
came back to our reunion over there, and we tried to get him. He came, but he just wanted to crawl into the tent like anybody else.
Yeah, he was just like he was in the movies. He was never wanting anything.
I've got a funny story that ties in with Ray's story about how they started operations. When we first went to Molesworth, they had the same procedure. They would take a co-pilot from a crew that was just finishing up. This guy had 3 missions yet to fly. We were just starting. I lost track of him. I started 10 years or so ago looking for my crew, and I tried to find this guy. Sure enough, he finished his 3 missions and went home. That 3rd one home, he was scared to death. He knew that was his last minute. He could go. I finally located him about a year ago. He's down in Laguna Beach, California. And I wrote to him. I talked to him on the phone. I also wrote to him, and I said, you really did a nice job breaking us in, because we finished. A whole bunch of us finished, the whole crew. And so he wrote back, and he said, I got a funny piece of trivia for you. He said, you probably didn't know it, but when I came back from next to my last mission, they hastened me off to headquarters. And he said, they had asked me before, he was a flight officer, they had asked me before if I would accept a commission. Well, he didn't know that they had written him off as a flight officer the day before he flew this mission, and they hadn't sworn him in yet as an officer. So he flew as a civilian pilot one mission. I wonder what would have happened. He'd say, hey guys, I don't want to go.
Yeah.
I might have an interesting thing about our co-pilot. They needed co-pilots for the heavy bombers, and my co-pilot was originally a P-38 pilot. We took overseas training at Pio, Texas, and the P-38 base was Pecos, Texas. It's 14 miles west. Well, every time we get up there and he see P-38, look out, you're going to get beat, flopping around that back. So it was really interesting things that happens when you think back what happened.
I might add a somber note to our gathering, and many of you experienced the same thing. There are 4 of our original crew of 10 left now, and I was fortunate enough to be in touch with them this past year. Our bombardier, myself, radio operator, and a waist gunner. The rest of the gentlemen are all gone now, and I expect many of you have suffered the same losses that we have. Thank you.
Dick, you brought a picture with you, didn't you?
The actual plane I was shot down in.
I'll be darned.
Okay.
Now, I can tell you the exact coordinates where that was in Germany. But the reason I got the pictures, I got liberated, and they had a picture of it.
Great.
And they gave me a copy of it.
Do you know where that plane is now?
It's in the mountains. He thinks he's located some debris. And I'd love to go back and get a few washers and nuts and give them to the survivors.
Do any of you have any bits and pieces of the plane that you were on, or maybe some bits and pieces of the plane?
How about some flak?
Yeah.
Or some flak. There you go.
Yeah, I got some of that.
I got some.
I got 2 pieces. One of them was pretty heavy.
Yeah.
The other one is a real lightweight alloy. Feel that?
Okay.
And it looks like there are a couple of grooves in there.
Yeah.
For the people out there that don't know what flak is, what's flak?
It's a part of a shell. I mean, it's a shell. It goes up and explodes, and then it throws this stuff at you.
Yeah.
And of course, you get a black puff when this thing goes off. So as they say, you used to be able to walk on some of it. It was so thick.
Are there any numbers on it?
Are there numbers on it,
Are there
James?
any numbers
I
on
don't
it?
think so on these.
We have some with numbers on it.
Have you
and
really?
we learned that our number was up.
A lot of difference in weight in them too.
To be Pacific, flak sounds like hail hitting your plane when it goes off. The ones you don't, the ones you hear, you're fine, but the one you don't hear, look out.
Look out.
This lightweight one was dug out of the skin of the plane, and it was headed right into the pilot's seat where I was.
Oh my.
That's why I kept that one.
Okay, so you actually brought that back with you then from over there. Some of the other things that you have in your box, James.
Oh, this is part of an escape kit.
Silk maps.
Yep, silk map.
I have mine.
And
2 of them.
they were pretty good about giving you these kits that were loaded with some reinforced chocolate, I guess, or high potency chocolate, so you could survive.
Oh,
They give you a map that had several frontiers on it, so that if you had a chance, if you were shot down or if you were in trouble up in the north part of Germany, you could head to Stockholm, which was a free port at that time. And if you were in the southern part of Germany, if you could make it to Switzerland, you could get there.
And that helped you kind of survive then,
This would help
was what it was for.
They have various portions of Europe here, part of Spain, part of Sweden, part of France. I don't know why I hung on to that, but I did.
It's still in good shape.
Yeah, and they would give you also in this escape kit, they would give you some currency if you were going up north. Oh, there you go. If you're going up north, they would probably give you some currency for Sweden. I'm sorry?
Wasn't that most of that stuff packed in your chute?
I honestly don't recall.
We had
was
an
in a-
escape kit right down here.
Yeah, I think so.
Mine was in the chute.
Is that right?
Yeah, everything was right in the chute. Knife
Mine
and
was in
everything.
a plastic flat.
Have any of you guys ever made it back? Have you ever gone back to visit?
I've been back to Molesworth and Alconbury. I got to Alconbury and it was a NATO base. And they had a young guard at the door. And
When was this, James?
Oh my.
I mean, has it been like within the last 10 years or
Yeah,
20
probably
years?
about 10 years ago. And I went to the old base at Molesworth. It was practically closed down. But the Alconbury base was still active as a NATO base. And they had guys giving a salute like this, you know. It was really weird. And they said, well, do you know anybody here? And I said, no, I don't know anybody here. I said, did you ever hear of Jimmy Stewart? Who? I said, well, he used to be the commander of this base. And he said, I said, well, look, I just want to drive through the place. He said, okay. He said, I'll let you drive through, but don't get out of your car. We had a rental car, of course. We drove through the base and came on out again. Give you another salute like this. It was weird.